What's going on, my besties, my ladies, my fellas, anybody out there in the universe? What's good? So, feeling overwhelmed with clutter. I don't know about you, but like I've been feeling a little overwhelmed. There's been point in times in my life where I felt overwhelmed with clutter and chaos, and I just felt like I needed to reclaim my sanity and feel some inner peace. So, if you don't already know, I'm your girl, CurvyChic, and today I am going to share some game changing decluttering tips that helped me, and I know that they'll help you. So, for my besties that's in your mid 20s, mid 30s, this is kind of when I kind of implemented some of these things, especially in my mid 20s. And like I have just been die hard with them, and they've made such big impacts. But it doesn't have to be only for my 20s and 30s. Like this is just for anybody, any human, anybody who need to do these things. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the things that I did that helped me become better in getting my inner peace or getting that peace when it came to decluttering. So we're going to talk about like kind of, I had to first understand what the impact of the clutter was doing to me. Like, what was it really doing to me? And what was it not doing to me? Then, once I understood it, I needed to come up with some strategies. Like, how am I going to make this big life change? Because currently, right now, I'm just clutter. It was just clutter everywhere. So, coming up with some strategies and then implementing those strategies with processes and just streamlining it, and then making those habits so that I could like literally fulfill them. And then going through all of that, just taking a time to reflect, check in, and see how what I had implemented, how it was making changes for me in my life. All right. So, when it came to me understanding the impact of the clutter, so the impact of the declutter, like, it was ridiculous. There was times where, then in mid 20s, I was a mom. My kid was young, preteen maybe, and losing keys, losing the favorite toy, losing the baby bottle, not knowing where the permission slip was, losing my keys, losing the paperwork for work, just losing everything. And it's like, I know I came in and I put it here, or did I put it there? Where was it? Or maybe even, getting to the point to where, oh, it's time to put the Christmas stuff up and the Halloween stuff up. Where did I put that at? Oh, it's underneath all of the other stuff that I've bought since then. Now, so that's the kind of stuff that I was looking at. That's the kind of stuff that I was looking at. So by decluttering my space, I was able to create a harmonious environment. Like it just supported my well being, and the impact, like really, y'all, it made things better for not only me, but for my family, my kid. Like it made things better for other people. Like these small changes impacted not only me, but the people in my inner core, my surroundings. So, yeah, definitely. Like, I didn't even know that like 65% of Americans feel like their home is somewhat or very disorganized. 65% of Americans feel that way. And like, I remember reading somewhere where it said like the average American spends about 2.5 days each year looking for lost items due to disorganization. Like, what could you be doing with 2.5 days a year? That could have been time with the kids. That could have been a getaway. That could have been you volunteering. That could have been taking up a passion or a new hobby. Like, dude, that's so much time. And when you think about it, like, oh, it's just 2.5 days. No, that's time, man. That is time. So, like, decluttering isn't just about tidying up. It's about just reclaiming the time and the energy. So once I went ahead and I recognized, hey, what was this doing to me? Then I needed to come up with some strategies so that, like, I can get my life together. Like, I can get my life together. So, what I did, I started small. So I did things like I focused on like one area at a time. So this doesn't have to necessarily be physically in your house. Maybe you need to declutter your life. Start small, one person at a time, one thing at a time. It doesn't have to necessarily be with, physical things. Like decluttering goes all the way around. But for me, I needed to start physical, and then we kind of went into other things. But for me, getting that focus there, so I started with one area at a time within my house, and that was like the closet or maybe my desk, because there's been times where I worked at home or I worked from home. I did things like set a timer. And when I was organizing one thing, one area, one thing at a time, I would do like short burst of time, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes of decluttering tasks, just so that I wouldn't feel overwhelmed. When you look at that area and you see what you have to do, it's like, nah, not today, not today. But when you kind of break it down, it doesn't seem so overwhelming, and it kind of seems manageable. It's like you're tricking your mind. The other thing that I did is that I used something called the one in, one out rule. So, with the one in, one out rule, for every new item that I brought into the house, I had to get rid of something else. So, you remember the saying where you have to, in order to get the new, you have to make room? No, wait. So, in order to get the new, you have to make, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about though. But basically, you need to get rid of the old to make room for the new. I think I just said it. But laugh at me. Hey. But like you can't receive the new if you still have the old. So making room for that you want. So I started doing things like that. And then also, like, if I would ask myself, well, I hadn't got to this point yet. So I was just kind of starting with that one in, one out rule. The third thing that I did is that once I kind of came up with, okay, these are some strategies that I'm going to do to kind of implement this decluttering thing that I'm trying to do. Like, how am I going to streamline these processes? Like, so I had to decide, after deciding the strategies I would use so I wouldn't be overwhelmed, I streamlined my space by basically identifying the items that I used regularly versus those that were collecting dust, like especially my besties, my sis besties, like, you know exactly what I mean. You know you haven't used that, I don't know, that spray, maybe that cologne, maybe that lotion. It's something that you have not used and it's just collecting dust. But you just got it because it's yours. The other thing that I did was that I needed to utilize space saving solutions. So when I say that, I'm talking about things like bins, baskets, like even under bed storages. Those things kind of helped me stay organized, and it made me be intentional about what I was putting in the bins and the baskets, or putting in that under storage spaces. And then this was this was a big one for me. It was a big one for me because I'm old school. So for me being old school, I came up with that paper for everything, especially documents, like important documents, paper trail, paper trail. And as time has evolved, yes, you still do need your important papers, but you don't necessarily have to have the actual physical paper. So I digitized when possible. So I would scan my important documents and even my photos to just reduce the paper clutter. Think about it. Like at some point we're all going to leave this earth and go into our next life, if depending on what you believe in. But for the people who are left behind, once you leave and go do whatever it is that you're doing and you're not here in this anymore, like who wants to go through thousands of papers? Like, do you really think that they're gonna do that? Some may, but that's a very would you want to do that? Come on. But then also when you've digitized, by scanning those documents in, you still have to organize what you scanned in, creating folders, doing things like that. So, just making things easier. And then after I went ahead and came up with, okay, I have some streamlined processes that I can do. These seems they're manageable for me. I had to go ahead and implement those and make them habits. So this came into how am I going to implement them and make them habits like in my daily routines, incorporating them, and keeping tidy, tidying up daily and not having to wait until Sunday for the Sunday recap or, clean Sunday or whatever people call them nowadays. Self-care Sunday. Well, we do want to do self-care, but you know, you should be cleaning and tidying. Well, you should be tidying up throughout the week or throughout the day, daily, so that it's not some overwhelming task when you do your deep clean. So, putting things up where they're going, creating a home or making a home for them. Like for me, something that I did is that I would always lose my keys. Like they just never had a home, like never. And I stopped carrying purses because I would overcrowd my purses. So, like, I ended up getting a hook on the back of the door, and that's where my keys go. Even to today, that's where my keys go. And I know that's where the keys are. If the keys aren't there, it irritates the living lights out of me because that means that someone has messed with my keys. And now I have a half human that is now driving. And hey, I need you to put those keys on the door, sir. Like, hey, 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 hey. But the other thing with these habits is that I had to practice mindful shopping habits to prevent unnecessary clutter and accumulation. So this goes back to the one in, one out rule. You remember the one in, one out rule is for every new item you bring into your home, consider letting one go or let one go. Don't consider it. Let one go. Let one go. Let one go. And then also something else that I would do is that I would ask myself, is this a need or is this a want? If it's a want, I would ask myself, where is this going to go? Where is this going to go? And if I honestly have nowhere for it to go, I don't buy it. Especially if it's a want, if I don't have anywhere for it to go, I don't buy it. And then also, if it is a want and I'm like, yeah, I do have somewhere for it to go, or no, I don't have anywhere for it to go, I then ask myself, is it something that I'm willing to get rid of so that I can have this new thing? And if the answer is no, then I don't care how cute it is or how I could envision it somewhere. I'll leave that stuff alone because I've just become so protective over my space and the clutter and just keeping it peaceful. Even just like when my house or when it's disorganized and when it's just junky or dirty, that like bothers me. Like it just messes with my mood. It messes with my peace. Like I'm irritated. I'm anxious. Like I can control those things. And then the other thing that I did when it came to cultivating sustainable habits for this is that I did regular check ins with myself, regular assessments, just kind of checking in with myself every few months to say, just reassessing my belongings. Do I need this? Do I don't need this? Are you using this, Kim? Like, what's the deal? Like, what's the deal? If not, how can we bless somebody else with this? Do we need, let's donate this. Sometimes you're decluttering, you can sell things. Maybe you can sell it on Poshmark, maybe on eBay. Like, we can get rid of this, let's get rid of it. And then how are we going to get rid of it? So, doing all of those things, understanding the impact of the clutter, decluttering strategies, streamlining the process, and then creating those sustainable habits, that just led me to finding inner peace in a clutter-free space. So, like, the the feeling, the vibe that I felt just experiencing the clarity, the focus, and this clutter-free environment, less stress, like a sense of calm and serenity when things were just organized, when things just had a home, and then it just boosted efficiency and productivity with this decluttered space, that I had, and then seeing the impact that these things that I was just doing for myself had on my inner core. And when I say my inner core, like family, friends, like, how was the experience when I would have people coming over? How was the vibe when people came over? Like, all of that was just different. So, like, there you have it. These were some of the things that I did to kind of change things up for me, to implement some stress-free stress-free zones for me, decluttering. So I hope you found these decluttering tips helpful, inspiring. Remember, like, clutter-free space just isn't about the just how things are looking. It's about nurturing your well-being. It's about nurturing your well-being and finding peace amidst the chaos of everyday life. Like, your place, your home, your space is your sanctuary. You control what's going on in there. So do something about it. So whether you're like tackling that cluttered closet, maybe that chaotic kitchen, or just maybe, just that messy workspace, whether that's at work, maybe you work from home, know you have the power to transform your surroundings and create a sanctuary that uplifts and rejuvenates you. I'm your girl, CurvyChic, and I'm here to empower you to organize, thrive in every aspect of your life. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video with your fellow besties, because you're my bestie. Share with your bestie, share your loves, show your bestie some love, and share with a bestie. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so, like, you don't miss me. You don't miss a future video, sis, bro, bestie. So thanks for watching, and remember, you've got this. Until next time, stay fabulous and stay organized, my bestie. Bye.